Welcome back to WorldSimSeries racing action, and welcome back to Bathurst. And it's another season and another year of the Porsche Street Cup here on WorldSimSeries. We're back with the 992 Cup cars, and we're here at Bathurst for round one. And then it's Baku coming up in 2 weeks' time. Then we head to Long Beach in California, and it's the Barcelona city circuit coming up at the end of the season. It's 4 rounds only that we see in the calendar, so a short and hopefully exciting season. Cambo sits on provisional pole position, 2/10 ahead of Gamberini. Mendelis, quickest in pre-qualifying, sits half a second back, but he's purple in sectors 1 and 2. Heading through the chase right now, and we'll see if he can find any improvement. Just under 4 minutes to go in this qualifying session. Still opportunities for a lot of the guys to improve. Top of the mountain and top of your screen is Cambo. He is on provisional pole, but let's see if there is an improvement from Mendelis across the line, and a big one, but not big enough for pole position. It was only green in that final sector. He goes to second, 1/10 off, but still has 2 more opportunities at a lap here in the session. Cambo not improving. And we've got the Pro-Am M. Do we have Pro-Am, Plus, and Am in terms of categories? So only 2 categories in this series. So the Ams are in one class, and then the Pro-Ams are in another. Quickest of the Ams at the moment. Anagas sitting in P6 overall. Closest Am to him is Orlovan, sitting in 9th spot. And that's the front row, let's say, for the Ams, as Mendelis goes quickest through Sector 1. Still opportunities to improve, and I'm joined as always by Lorinas.
Hi Gustas, welcome everyone. Welcome back to WorldSimSeries and another Premium Championship, a short one this time. The famous Porsche Street Cup Championship is back with 4 rounds in total, happening every 2 weeks, and that's how Matas Mendelis wants to get that pole position. He clips the wall, and I'm not sure if that's going to help him with the lap time. He's quick through Sector 1, but we have to wait till he'll cross the second split time. And 0-0, does that mean he matches his own pace? Whatever that is, he's still purple in Sector 2, even with that wall clip. As we see Camdo again start to climb up the mountain for his fast lap time, and the drivers will have one more shot at the fight for pole position. Mendelis with the last corner to go. On the previous lap, I think he made a mistake somewhere around this section. This time there is no mistake from Mendelis, and he's half a second ahead of Camdo. And now Sendersky goes P2 as Camdo is lighting up his personal best sector time, but no improvement in Sector 2. So I think he's losing out to himself here, looking at the graph at the bottom center of our screen. Gamberini back into the pits. He's out of the fight, and if we would not look at the gap of Mendelis, it looks like it's a pretty close fight between positions 2 and 4 at this moment. The next driver, Vechkis, is 5th. He's already 1.5 seconds behind. That's Camdo, no improvement. And let's go back to Sendersky, who is improving in Sector 1. Brushing the walls on the mountain.
Top four in a different dimension at the moment. Haikelis goes to 5th now. And that is the new provisional pole position in Am. But the top 4, well, 8/10 ahead between 4th and 5th, that's the gap, and then obviously 1.5 the difference to overall pole. Vanagas still has an opportunity to take back that pole position in the AM class. Currently sits 9th with his closest rival in 5th. I don't think anybody's gonna unseat Mendeles from the top of the leaderboard, but maybe still a shuffle somewhere. Yep, 2nd, 3rd into the pits. And I think Gamberini was into the pits as well, so I don't think he'll have any improvement there as well. So unless there's a miracle lap coming from somebody further back down the field, this should be a Mendeles pole, and by a pretty huge margin as well. But let's see if anything changes in AM. Vichkis goes to 5th now, and Dotardas now up to 6th. So really it's changing it a lot for the AM cars, because it's gone from a big gap in terms of position to a much smaller one. Vanagas no improvement as he slows out the exit of the final turn. And can... Oh wow! At the death of the session, Borlovan goes to pole position in the AMs as he goes 0.04 of a second quicker than Haikelis to go up into 7th in pole.
Oh, yep, and that's about to wrap up the qualifying session. All the drivers are about to complete their fastest lap times, and here we go. Qualifying session done. Let's go quickly through the results. As we...
And last-minute improvement from Haikelis, who goes up into 5th. How did that happen? We saw Gavars go up to 7th, but Haikelis now up to 5th.
Yep, it looks like he overtook Borlovan. I'm not sure. Maybe our timing tower was incorrect at some point. We had that happen.
Anyway, qualifying result, at least what is on the WorldSimSeries timing page. It's Mendeles ahead of Sendersky, Cambo, and Gamberini, your top 4, and the top 4 in Pro-Am Plus. Leader of the AMs is Haikelis in 5th, then it's Vichkis, Dotardas, and Gavars only down in 8th position. He was quick in championships in the past. Then it's Borlovan 2nd in the AMs. And then we have Ojunas Vanagas 3rd in the AMs. Then it's Schleika Varga 4th in the AMs. And then it's Torres, Yordachi, Vishnevskis, Ruginis, Pranis, Frisch, and Lucas 21st and last on the grid, and 5th in the AMs. That's your grid. 21 cars ready to tackle the mountain here at Mount Panorama.
Yep, and 30 minutes of pure racing, identical setups for the drivers, traction control, ABS and brake balance is allowed to be adjusted. No tire blankets here. That means that the Porsches will start on cold tires, and the drivers will have to be very careful around the first lap. That's when the biggest fights are shaping up. Let's get the grid ready.
It's round 1 of the Porsche Street Cup, and we're underway here at Bathurst. Run down into turn 1. Let's see if everybody can get through cleanly. Mendeles continues to hold the lead, and he actually was able to take that outside line, get a good exit, and I think he's gone from the pack now, or safe for now into the next braking zone, but anything's going to change up the mountain as we've seen in years past. Gamberini to the outside of turn 2, and I don't think that's a real overtaking opportunity. Slots back in behind. Big carnage here in the middle of the field. Gavras has Borlovan involved in front of him, and Frisch on your screens. Here's Gavras. Slots in 8th. He's got Borlovan in 7th. 6th for Vichkis, and Haikelis sits in the 5th spot, but that lead for the quartet is already running away from the pack and opening up that gap. They're much more compressed than the rest of the field, except for the leader. So already almost a second gone. So it's really 2nd, 3rd, and 4th that are battling. I think that was why from Haikelis running in the Dream to Drive livery, and he's now going to be under pressure from Vetchkis. So Vetchkis, a Pro-Am car, not for position in class, for overall honors, but no points extra. And then it's Borlovan, which would be a position. So he kind of wants to keep Vetchkis behind as a rear gunner. So he's safe from any attacks coming from Borlovan, who might be under threat from Gavars behind. Only 0.2 of a second the gap between those two cars. As we get into the braking zone, into the chase, and through the chicane they come. It's going to be a lap 1 completed, half an hour of racing here around Mount Panorama. As Vetchki's still behind Haikalis, but doesn't look like he can do much.
Yep, Mendelis made a small mistake on the final sector. He was ahead a little bit more than 1 second in front of Cambo. The gap is now down to be less than 1 second. And this is a pure sprint race format. No mandatory pit stops, just pure 30 minutes of racing, meaning that every move has to be completed on the racetrack. Everyone is on equally set up cars. Neither car is lighter or has fresher tires, so the driver is responsible for where he is looking to finish this race. And it's really tricky to make a move on this track located in Australia. Love how Cambo kind of sits up closely behind Matas Mendelis, still within 1 second. Creates a nice pressure situation for the current lead driver. Remember, Mendelis took quite a while in the qualifying session to get out on top, so maybe he's looking after his tires and tries to switch them on precisely. The tire wear is 200%, meaning that every slide and every mistake can cost the driver a fortune towards the end of the race, even though they still should be very comfortable with the remaining of the rubber on the tires. Still, Mendelis, a very experienced driver, and he's very technical, so I'm pretty sure he knows what he's doing, and just tries to bring up the temperature nicely, knowing the gap that he had in the qualifying session. There is no need for Mendelis to push too much at the start of the race, as we look at the battle between Gavars and Borlovan, which is not for position because both of the drivers are in different categories, and Borlovan, I think he's not happy about seeing a faster car in his rear view mirrors. He's 1 car down on Haikalis, and this is the battle in the M class, as Cambo just set the fastest lap time of the race. We completed 2 laps now. It's a relatively long lap on this mountain track, a street circuit, as the championship name suggests. All of the tracks in the championship are street circuits. And
one is a fantasy street circuit as well. The Barcelona street circuit.
You could safely say this is the 2nd season of the Porsche Street Cup. We had one 1 year ago. I think in the previous championship, did we have mandatory pit stops, or was it also a sprint format?
No, I think it was also a sprint. I think it was also a half-hour sprint. That's how I remember it. We do have tire wear at 200%, so that's something to keep an eye on for the drivers, but it shouldn't be too much trouble. So Mendelis still not able to escape fully from the pack chasing him behind. Cambo still within a second. There's obviously no DRS in these Cup cars, but he's in that range where he could capitalize on a mistake if he doesn't make some himself, and that just puts him out of that 1 second range. and actually puts Gambarini closer to him. Fastest lap of the race, not a actually fastest lap of the race from Gambarini, is it? Well, both of them are purple. How is that possible?
Identical lap times regarding our
Oh yeah,
timing
they
session.
are identical. They are identical lap times. 2:05.918 for Mendeles and a 2:05.918 for Gambarini. So that's why it was purple for both of them. Would go to Mendeles in this case. He set the lap time earlier because he was further ahead on track.
Wonder if that's sorted out on the WorldSimSeries platform. There is no point for the fastest lap time, so nobody would care about it. But if there would be a point for a fastest lap time, WorldSimSeries currently also highlights the 2 best laps of the drivers. It's a scenario that maybe no one has thought through in the past. So, as Gustav said, the fastest lap time should go to Matas Mendeles because he was the first driver to set it. But I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a faster lap time soon, set by some of the driver.
Yep, as the fuel load is going to go down, obviously the tire wear is going to kick in, but should start to go quicker.
Gambarini starts to put on the pressure on Cambo. With the previous lap time, he was half a second faster than his rival, though he lost in lap 1 and 2. So maybe also was just preparing the tires for the remaining of the session. They started on cold tires. Oh, and Gambarini now goes a little bit too deep into the chase, into the first left-hander. And he definitely lost a little bit of time there. And again, high on the curb, wide on the exit, and that's gonna cost him a lot. And I think he was gaining on Cambo, but that didn't work out. Mendeles fastest lap time again? No, it was it was just a highlight of the previous fastest lap. Is this a lapped car? I think it is. Gambarini
Actually,
just
quick, fastest on track at the moment is Cambo. He was a 10th quicker than anybody else. This is a lapped car of a Ducas and P20. So Cambo, the fastest lap last time round. And let's see if he can start to catch up to Mendeles. But Gambarini was gaining on him a lot. So imagine the lap of Gambarini if it wasn't for that mistake in the final sector. Still, opportunities may come throughout the race. I do wonder, though, if Mendeles is just managing the pace out in front. If you win by a second or you win by 20, you don't get more points. But around this place, it's a lot of risk to try and go very, very quick. And if he has a pace that he's comfortable with, that he can run for the next 20 minutes, and if it's identical to the car behind, that's good enough.
It is definitely. I think Mendeles is just controlling the situation. 10 minutes done, 20 to go. This is a nice battle for P5 in the overall standings. Večkys and Gavars on the tail of Haikalis, and both are a buffer for Haikalis in the battle of the lead in the M class. So I'm pretty sure he's happy to have those cars in between himself and Borlovan. But he has to be careful. It looks like the blue and red Porsches are chasing him as Mendeles sets the fastest lap time of all of the grid with the last lap. As we ride on board with Haikals, Večkys and Gavars are pretty close. And Sendersky is right on the tail of Gambarini. So Gambarini was pretty fast, but it looks like he's unable to avoid those mistakes, and clipping those curbs and running wide cost you quite a lot of time. And it looks like Gambarini just made the same mistakes. He now needs to go defensive, holds on to the inside line and leaves no space on the inside for Sendersky. and keeps the third spot. This is the battle for the final step on the podium. Gavars running wide again, almost clipping the barrier, so didn't have a nice exit. But as we continue to climb up the mountain, the track is pretty narrow here and pretty fast sweeping corners. So to make a move, you have to risk a lot or just hope that your rival will make a mistake, and Gamberini, well, another mistake here. Again, wide on the exit, taking the lines a little bit too tight on the entry by the looks of it. And he did have the pace. He was gaining on combo. He's now 4.2 seconds behind. So pace is not everything in this championship as Sendersky brushes the wall on the exit onto the Konrad straight, and both drivers making mistakes, so this battle looks a little bit scrappy. One or the other driver making mistakes, and the gap getting tighter or bigger between them. As Gavras now all over the back of Vechkis, tries the outside line. Will it stick into the chase? And it does. Yep. Gavars up into P6, as Vechkis did leave him plenty of room. He didn't want to make a collision, and looks like he will hope for his chance a little bit later into the race, though we know Gavras is a pretty fast driver, kind of taking slightly lower positions in this race. Maybe didn't have a lot of practice laps.
Not something we normally see from Gavars. He was, what I remember, he was fighting for the title the last time we had the Porsche Street Cup. Maybe he even won it. We can actually have a look. So strange to see him definitely this far down and quite a bit off the pace as well.
Tight circuit, and the drivers sometimes clip the barriers. A small nudge on the wall usually means nothing, but sometimes if you do it in a wrong angle on the AC platform, you can bend your suspension. Vechkis now brushes the right side of his car and still keeps on going. Lost a little bit of time. He needs to settle down now because it looks like he has the pace. And look at Borlovan, a driver from the M class. He's gaining on Vechkis, so these two drivers ahead of him are making small mistakes. Now Borlovan is interested in the lead of the M class. Haikalis is currently P5 overall, and it's roughly 3 seconds between them, but there are two cars that are in the way of Borlovan, so Haikalis is happy about it. Borlovan is not too much, and it looks like Borlovan lacks slightly the pace of Haikalis, though he was a little bit faster on lap 5.
So it wasn't Gavars, it was Gubarevs who won the, who was second actually behind Mendelis, who won the championship in the last Porsche Street Cup. So a fellow Latvian, but different driver. So, but Gubarevs, sorry, Gavars did, from what I remember, have a pretty decent result in the last Porsche Fever Championship. He was third in that one. So still strange to see him this far down. Maybe we'll see some improvement throughout the season. Fastest lap of the race, still held by Mendelis out in front. Probably not a huge surprise. Well, Gamberini had those electric few laps, or it looked like maybe he'd pose a challenge to Cambo. That is long gone at this point. Gap at 6.8 from Gamberini to the lead, and 4 seconds to the car ahead. And Cambo 3 seconds behind the lead as well, so the gaps have opened up. A couple of battles still in there. This is battle for 10th overall. Well, actually 9th overall. The cars smack the walls at the top of the mountain. In the AMs, so it is Heikelis in front, Borlovan behind him, and Vanagas sits in 11th overall and 3rd in class. The next 2 AM cars are both a lap down in 20th and 21st place. Educas ahead of Varga for 4th and 5th.
Yep, so the podium places in the M class are kind of already settled, though Borlovan is still trying his best to keep up with Heikelis, and he's about he's holding on those 3 seconds, sometimes being faster than Heikelis, sometimes slower. Oh, and it looks like Gavras just made a mistake. Yep, Vichkis up into P6 now. Borlovan is all over the back end of Gavras. Something happened in the chase, I believe, after the Conrad straight. Maybe it was a slipstream situation for Vechkis, though I assume it was a mistake by Gavars, who is lacking the pace slightly here in this race, and not only the pace but also makes some mistakes. Most of the drivers do make those mistakes. Now Vechkis and Gavars side by side into the Griffin's Bend, and Vechkis stays in front of Gavars. Now, what about Borlovan? He is not, I don't think he wants to be involved in this battle at all, and he would kindly ask the drivers to move out of his way for him to try and chase down Heikelis. But it looks like he's just lacking the pace slightly to keep up with the faster cars. Gavras now all over the back of Vechkis, wants that P6 overall back into his pocket. This is the battle for 5th place in the Pro-Am Plus category. The higher you finish, the more points you receive. It's a sure championship, 4 rounds in total. All of them count towards the overall standings of the drivers. So everyone wants to pick as many points as possible in every race. Oh, someone went sideways onto the Conrad straight. As we have a battle in the background, we stick with Gavras and Vechkis. Now the Conrad straight does produce some nice slipstream opportunities. Gavras was a little bit too far behind Vechkis to make a move. So he just wants to sit tight on the back end of Vechkis, and he already knows that Vechkis is a nice driver. So I'm pretty sure Gavras is planning his next move here on his rival, and maybe it might be a riskier one. During the races, you kind of get familiar with your rivals, and you know what to do with in every situation with each of the driver. With some drivers you can be a little bit more risky, with others you can't. Let's see what Gavras decides here in this battle. He did make that move once. Oh, as Vechkis runs wide, and I think that's a position gained again. So we had plenty. Well, at least we had a couple of position changes here due to the mistakes of the drivers. So it looks like these Porsches are a handful to drive. Do they have ABS? Yep, they do have ABS and traction system. I think this is a fresh mod of the 992 Cup. Is it 992.2 or is it the 992.1?
It's the 0.1. It's the car we've been running for a couple of, I think, almost a year now. More than a year, maybe.
Oh, didn't...
it's the Dream
where
to
they
Drive.
updated?
The Dream to Drive adjusted Cup car.
Okay. Yeah, but I see they do have traction control and ABS, so that's why I kind of thought that it might be the 992.2.
No, they always do.
Okay.
It was just depending on the series whether they allowed it or not. But the car model always had it. As Mendelis completes another lap, he's turned down the pace, at least on the last one. 206.3. And Cambo has closed up for the first time in a long time, but still the gap is too big. And actually now the whole lead pack has opened up. Big gaps between everyone. Sendersky was still close a couple of laps ago, but that train has departed.
And look at Borlovan, he managed to overtake Vichkis, so Vichkis made another mistake somewhere on the racetrack. Borlovan would appreciate if Vichkis would not make a move on him, but Vichkis is all over the back, and his battle now is with Gavars, and the car that is now one car ahead of Vichkis.
Oh no! That's not how you catch up. So Vichkis runs into the wall through the cutting. I don't know even. Oh no! Now it's Borlovan who hits the wall, and something happened to Gavars as well because he lost time. So it's all kicking off now. Half an hour, well, just 20 minutes done of this race. And mistakes are starting to creep in. You can't make a move at the top of the mountain. So Vichkis will have to wait. Dotartas is catching up from behind. That's the real problem here. More so for Vichkis than Borlovan, who is online. Vichkis thinks about a move, tries to show his nose, force the car in front into a mistake. Not going to happen. But this time it's going to be a slipstream effect here down the back straight and into the chase. They go. Borlovan tries to break the slipstream to the inside, and Ken Vichkis trying to make a move. He's gonna, because the door has been left open. And no, well, Borlovan still tries to keep it side by side. I thought he'd just lift out of it, and finally does. So goes back in, into 8th. Doesn't really need to fight either of these cars, and he's still got a couple of them. Oh, was that traffic?
Yep. It was traffic as the cars continue to battle, but look at Dotartas. He managed to get himself very close to Vichkis, who is still in a battle with Borlovan.
This is great from Borlovan, who makes the move around the outside into turn 1. So he had the exit, he had the speed, and now he's on the inside for turn 2. Will Dotartas think about giving a bit of a bump draft? Borlovan's still on the inside, but no way is Vichkis going to hold on. Is he going to hold on around the outside? He's going to be now on the inside into the left, and I think he's backed out of it finally. And wow, well, Borlovan really wants that 7th spot overall, but he's brought Dotartas and Asp into this.
Vichkis clipped the barriers, I believe, on the exit of that corner. And Asp, where did Asp go? He was just right behind Dotartas. He's now 2 seconds off.
Oh, maybe that wasn't him. Maybe that was the traffic. Because there is a car in between them that's not traffic.
Yeah, maybe it was traffic. So I also thought that Asp is already in the battle, but he still has a couple of seconds. But if the cars in front of him continue to battle like that, it will take no time for Asp to get a little bit closer. Now, to get close to your rival is one thing, but to make a move is another. And we know that Dotartas was a little bit slower than Vichkis throughout the race. No, actually he wasn't. He was faster on lap 8 and lap 9. So Vichkis needs to think hard about his lines and braking points, because Dotartas coming from behind has a slight pace advantage. Though it looks like the drivers are unable to avoid mistakes here and there. Dotartas back to 1.3 seconds again between himself and Dotartas. As Gavars running safely in P6, P5 in the Pro-Am Plus class. Borlovan now too far behind Haikalis. The gap was about 3 seconds before these intense battles took place. It now is around 8 seconds, and Borlovan is now basically just hanging on to that P2 in the PM class. What about the next time driver? Vanagas is 13th in a battle with Shileika, trying the outside move, which sometimes works and sometimes doesn't. Close to the wall.
He gets pushed into that wall. You're not going to have much space. He's going to be on the inside of Junas now and stays in position. So he actually dropped positions throughout this race. Hasn't been able to stick with the lead pack in his class. The Borlovan, now that he's been released again, he's catching back up to Gavor. So he definitely has the pace.
Jonas drifting around the corners, just being able to hold on to the remaining grip under his car and continues his show, but it looks like the tires are already worn out, and as soon as the drivers try to make something out of them, they start to slide and they need to back off. So it's really difficult to drive these cars, especially in the situations when you want to gain places. It's really easy to step over the limit and make those mistakes and wear out the tires even more. You heat them up with those slides, and then basically they are not giving you the same amount of grip. So Endless in the lead, who was warming up the tires pretty neatly, now kind of settled down with his pace. 2 minutes 5.8 the last time for Mendelis, 2 minutes 5.8 also for Cambo, so identical pace by both of the drivers. That should offer us a pretty interesting season ahead. We remember that Gamberini was pretty fast at the opening lap, Sendersky was also fast. Just the mistake that the drivers made in those laps set them further apart from the lead, but still these four leading cars are pretty tight together, and there is a BOP for the top three finishers after each round, so the top three finishers of this race will have heavier cars in the next one, meaning that the drivers who finish beneath the top three in this race will have a slight advantage in the next races, which should equal out the possibilities for the drivers throughout the championship. As we will head on over to the next street circuit.
It's Baku in 2 weeks' time. Here's Mendelis. He'll start the final lap of the race. He has just a little bit of traffic in front of him.
I almost called this the penultimate lap because I kind of had in my head that +1 lap, but there is no +1 lap here in this championship. And you are totally correct. This is the final lap for our Porsche Street Cup Championship drivers. As they settle down in their positions, I don't think there is going to be a change unless something happens to one of them. Dautartas still on the tail of Vechkis, but the pace difference between these drivers is so small that I think Vechkis will be able to hold on the possible moves from Dautartas as Dautartas slides into the first corner. And that's not how you gain time. This is how you lose time, basically, driving on road circuits. Good news for Vechkis. He sees the gap growing up, and he can go and chase down Borlovan, which will change nothing for him. He still is looking at a 6th place finish in this race in the Pro-M class, but he makes a mistake by himself. Not a huge one, but still runs a little bit too deep into the cutting. A double left-hander, which is a tricky one. And you clip the dirty part of the circuit, you find no grip there, and you run wide. You kind of get dragged in towards the wall, and good news for Vechkis, he managed to avoid it. As Gavors gains on Haikalis, which is also not a battle for position.
That's not going to change anything. And here's the overall leader and the leader in Pro-Am Plus. Matas Mendeles from pole to race win. He's going to go, and he's really managed this one out in front, and nobody's been able to touch him. He's going to win race 1 of the Porsche Street Cup in 2026. Cambo, a newcomer, takes second, and then it's Gamberini and Senderski third and fourth. Senderski caught up on that final lap, but couldn't do much more. Oh, Angelis was off the road, and I think he'll stay in front of Borlovan just about, as Gavars will take fifth, and Angelis will take the win in the AM class ahead of Borlovan, as they finish 6th and 7th overall. First and second in their class, and it will be Vanagas in third in that AM category, as everybody's gonna come across the line. No moves in the final lap being made, as everybody continues to cross the line. Let's see here, we have to wait for everybody to do so, because that's only when we get those final updates. But the top 10 is settled. Mendeles, Cambo, Gamberini, Senderski, Kavars, Haikalis, Borlovan, Vechkis, Dotartas, Vishnevskis, your top 10. And again, the winner in AM is Haikalis ahead of Borlovan. And Vanagas finishes third in that category and 13th overall. This is one of the final few cars to cross the line. Pranis in Pro-Am. But that has been race number 1 of this return to the Porsche Street Cup. In 2 weeks' time, we head to Baku. If you want to participate, head on over to WorldSimSeries.com and sign up for free and participate in the next part of this season, or any of the other championships going on World Sim Series right now. But that is it from us, and we'll see you all in 2 weeks' time.